Has the legendary green and white, a franchise synonymous with unwavering loyalty and an unyielding pursuit of banners, truly reached a point where even their most dynamic, homegrown stars are nothing more than assets to be traded away in a ruthless game of future-proofing? Or is this simply the brutal, cold calculus of an NBA front office, forced by circumstance to make an unthinkable decision in the relentless quest for sustained greatness? We're talking, of course, about Jaylen Brown, the electrifying wing, the two-way force, the very heartbeat of the Boston Celtics' recent success. Yet, as the whispers turn into roars and a shocking trade proposal gains traction, Brown finds himself at the epicenter of a potential seismic shift that could redefine the Celtics' identity for years to come. Is it pure madness to even consider moving a player who has bled for the Shamrock? Or is this the desperate yet strategic pivot required when the championship window slams shut, even if temporarily? The hallowed halls of TD Garden, usually buzzing with the fervent hope of another deep playoff run, are instead filled with a palpable sense of dread and a chilling uncertainty. For years, Celtics fans have grown accustomed to a certain standard: contention, star power, and a legitimate shot at the NBA Finals. But as the summer sun beats down, a stark, unwelcome reality has begun to set in. The Boston Celtics, the perennial contenders, the team that has consistently been at the top of the Eastern Conference, are facing a season of unprecedented misery. And it all stems from a single devastating blow: the torn Achilles of their undisputed superstar, Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum's injury isn't just a setback. It's an earthquake that has fractured the very foundation of the Celtics' immediate future. With their cornerstones sidelined, the dream of competing for a championship next season has evaporated like mist in the morning sun. For a fan base that has witnessed consistent excellence, this forced sabbatical from contention is a bitter pill to swallow. The emotional toll on the players, the coaching staff, and the faithful supporters is immense, a collective sigh of resignation echoing through the city. But Tatum's crushing absence is only one piece of a complex, unsettling puzzle. The Celtics have already been forced to make significant, financially driven moves this offseason, sending out key contributors like Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. These were not moves made to improve the team's immediate on-court product. They were moves dictated by the unforgiving realities of the NBA's salary cap and luxury tax apron rules. The message was clear: the financial burden of maintaining a championship-contending roster, especially one without its primary engine, had become untenable. Considering Boston won't be in the mix for a title next season, and with no guarantee that Tatum's return will immediately restore them to their former glory, the franchise finds itself at a critical juncture. This isn't just a retooling, it's a forced reevaluation, a moment of truth where sentiment must yield to strategic necessity. The question isn't if they should make a major shakeup, but how drastic that shakeup needs to be to navigate this unforeseen period of transition and prepare for a brighter future. And at the heart of this storm, surprisingly, is Jaylen Brown. For months, the Celtics front office has been adamant: Jaylen Brown is not for sale. He's a cornerstone, a foundational piece, the dynamic co-star to Jayson Tatum. He's grown into an all-star, a clutch performer, and a player who embodies the grit and athleticism that defines modern NBA wings. The idea of trading him seemed preposterous, an act of self-sabotage for a team that has been so close to the ultimate prize. However, as the landscape shifts and the harsh realities of Tatum's injury and financial constraints come into sharper focus, the definition of untouchable begins to blur. What if the right price isn't about immediate on-court production, but about future flexibility, draft capital, and the opportunity to reset? In a recent article from Fantasy Sports on SI, Ethan Hutton dared to propose such a scenario: a blockbuster trade that would send shockwaves through the league and fundamentally alter the Celtics' trajectory. Hutton's audacious proposal outlines a trade that, on the surface, might make many Celtics fans recoil in horror, but upon deeper inspection, reveals a cold, calculated logic. Celtics receive Jalen Suggs, Jonathan Isaac, 3 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick. Magic receive Jaylen Brown. Let's break this down. For the Boston Celtics, this isn't about getting immediate like-for-like value for an all-star. Jaylen Brown is a proven commodity, a guaranteed 20-plus points per night, an elite defender, and a player who thrives in high-pressure situations. Jalen Suggs, while a promising young guard, has yet to consistently reach that level, and Jonathan Isaac, despite his immense defensive potential, has been plagued by a litany of injuries that have severely limited his career. However, the true haul for the Celtics lies in the draft capital: 3 first-round picks and 1 second-round pick. This is where the long-term vision begins to take shape. This isn't a trade for today, it's a trade for tomorrow and potentially the day after that. It's an acknowledgement that the immediate future is bleak, and the best course of action might be to gather as many future assets as possible to accelerate the next competitive window. Why would the Celtics even entertain such a move, parting ways with a player of Brown's caliber? The answer lies in a confluence of factors, all pointing towards a strategic pivot, future-proofing through draft capital. The sheer volume of draft picks is the undeniable centerpiece of this proposal for Boston. 3 first-round picks offer immense flexibility. They can be used to draft young talent, replenish a depleted roster, or, perhaps most enticingly, be packaged together to acquire another star player down the line once Tatum is healthy and the team is ready to contend again. This provides multiple avenues for a quicker, more sustainable rebuild rather than a prolonged period in the wilderness. It's about hedging their bets and giving themselves options in a league where draft picks are gold. Youth movement and development. Jalen Suggs, despite an inconsistent start to his career, still possesses significant upside. He's a tenacious defender, a strong playmaker, and a player who could thrive with a change of scenery and a clearer role. The Celtics would gain the opportunity to develop a young, promising guard who could potentially grow alongside a returning Jayson Tatum. This aligns with a philosophy of building a younger, more cost-controlled core around their injured superstar. Financial flexibility. While not explicitly detailed in the prompt, trading Jaylen Brown's max contract would provide significant financial relief for the Celtics. Given their recent moves to shed salary, Holiday, Porzingis, this aspect cannot be overstated. It would allow them to reset their cap sheet, avoid punitive luxury tax penalties, and position themselves for more aggressive moves in future free agency periods or trades. This is a crucial underlying factor in any teardown scenario. The ideal return for a reset. Hutton's framing of this as an ideal return for Brown, despite the lack of immediate on-court parity, speaks to the strategic value. It's not about replacing Brown's production directly. It's about acquiring a young player with potential, a versatile role player in Isaac, who if healthy can be a defensive force, and a treasure trove of draft picks. This package allows the Celtics to take a step back now, gather assets, and position themselves to take 2 steps forward when Tatum returns, potentially with a younger, cheaper core and the capital to acquire a third star when the time is right. On the other side of the equation, the Orlando Magic's motivation is crystal clear: acquiring a proven bona fide all-star. The Magic have been patiently building through the draft, accumulating young talent like Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. They've developed a strong defensive identity and shown flashes of brilliance. What they lack is a consistent, high-level scorer and a veteran presence who can elevate their ceiling and guide them into true contention. Jaylen Brown fits that bill perfectly. He's an elite two-way wing, a player who can create his own shot, defend multiple positions, and provide the kind of playoff experience that their young core desperately needs. Pairing Brown with Banchero and Wagner would create a formidable, dynamic trio, immediately transforming the Magic into a legitimate threat in the Eastern Conference. For a team that has amassed significant draft capital, sacrificing some of those future picks for a proven star makes perfect sense when they are ready to make the leap from promising young team to serious contender. This trade would signal their arrival, their commitment to winning now, and their belief that Brown is the missing piece to unlock their full potential. For Celtics fans, the prospect of trading Jaylen Brown is more than just a strategic decision, it's an emotional gut punch. Brown has been a constant through years of rebuilding and contending, a player who has grown before their eyes, battled through adversity, and delivered countless memorable moments. He represents a connection to the team's recent successes, a symbol of their hard-fought journey. the inevitable backlash and passionate debate among the fan base would be immense. Is this a betrayal of a loyal player? A short-sighted move that sacrifices current talent for uncertain future prospects? Or is it a necessary, albeit painful, act of strategic foresight, a ruthless decision made to ensure the long-term health and championship aspirations of the franchise? The dilemma is profound, forcing fans to weigh their emotional attachment against the cold, hard realities of NBA economics and the pursuit of ultimate glory. This isn't just a trade proposal, it's a litmus test for the Celtics' current philosophy. It's a moment where they must decide whether to cling to the past, however glorious, or to bravely, perhaps brutally, forge a new path forward. The decision to move Jaylen Brown, if it were to happen, would be a legacy-defining moment for the front office, a clear statement about their priorities in this unprecedented era of uncertainty. It would signify a full acceptance of the misery ahead, but also a bold declaration of intent for a brighter, more sustainable future. What do you think, Celtics Nation? Is this a necessary evil, a brilliant strategic pivot, or an unforgivable act of betrayal? Should the Celtics embrace this teardown and gather future assets, or should they hold on to Jaylen Brown and weather the storm with their current core? Let us know your passionate opinions, your strategic breakdowns, and your hopes for the future in the comments below. If this deep dive into the Celtics' potential future has you rethinking everything, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for all the breaking news and in-depth analysis, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest from your favorite team.